Jordan, I got a question for you. I know many people, the gong lover, they like the resonance, they like the vibration. They can, go into the very deep muscle and the cells. But how can people benefit from the gong recording? Because people will say that the gong is messy, it's phenomenal, it's difficult to record. So they are not fancy to listen, the recording stuff. Before that, please press the button to subscribe YouTube video and press the notification bell, choose all notifications and give us a thumb up. We'll have a new video for you every week. Yes?
Well, it's just I haven't forgotten the question after all that. We're talking about gong recordings,
yes.
And it's not uncommon actually. Even for
many people, many people ask.
It's not uncommon for people who come to my gong baths.
Yeah.
To come up and say, "Wow, they've experienced live gong baths, of course, because they come to the gong bath, but they're kind of disappointed when they hear gong recordings because they feel as though...
You were gong recording? Or?
Well, they're talking about gong recordings in general. Okay? And they kind of are disappointed and they don't think that they kind of in any way live up to the experience of actually being at a live gong bath.
How about the headphone, the earphone?
Well, people listen to recorded music in many different ways these days, don't they?
Yeah.
Generally, I mean, I would say from all the years I've listened to music, which is many years actually, that in general, the kinds of equipment that people use to listen to music has improved. So you can get
that's true.
Even the little in-ear headphones can be quite effective if you are prepared to spend a little bit of money on them. And then, I mean, in this room here, we've got this little portable loudspeaker, haven't we?
Yeah.
Smart speakers, I think they're called.
Yeah.
And they are great. I mean, they have a really good fidelity range compared to what it would have been just a few years ago. And of course, many people have still got big and quite elaborate hi-fi systems at home. So that there are... The fact of the matter is that if you've got a good gong recording, if it's been well recorded and well played, this is the key thing.
Yeah,
it's got to be. Yeah, I'm not very good at holding up my fingers to make these points, but number one, if it's well performed, and number two, if it's well recorded, then you can really. I mean, my famous and renowned gong teacher Don Conreaux, when I was starting out playing the gongs many years ago, said to me that well recorded gongs have the same beneficial impact as in a live situation. And I've always kind of responded to questions about this and answered in that way, and I feel the same. I mean, my own experience is that. And so that's the answer. That's basically the answer to the question.
Okay, here are another questions. What's well recorded gong recording? Because I got many terrible experience. I recording by my mobile. Oh, it's distortion, it's horrible. How can people have to be trained to be a good recording?
Okay, so. Most people's experience, I think, of hearing recorded gongs recordings, isn't on a CD or something, or on a good download or whatever. It's through watching as well as listening YouTube videos.
Oh yeah.
Now, you shot enough YouTube videos, you just said, to know that the fact is that most YouTube videos are shot on what? Smartphones. What are smartphones good at these days?
Or camera. Some camera is horrible for the audio.
Okay, but let's just stick with the smartphones, and cameras are the same. But what are smartphones good at? They're really good at shooting excellent visuals.
Yeah.
You know, we're shooting on this on a, you know, not a especially expensive smartphone. What have we got?
Yeah.
We've got a lovely visual. We're just talking to you at the moment, so the audio for talking on a smartphone is great. It's no problem at all. Yeah. But once you start trying to record something as complex as sound and as thick and in-depth, massive frequency range of a gong, then a smartphone is going to let you down, and you're not going to get you're not going to get a good result.
So scary.
Very often it can be distorted, which is the worst thing.
Yeah.
Now, so what you find is that many YouTube videos of gongs look quite nice, often very nice, but they sound terrible.
Yeah,
and that's the reason.
Very disappointing.
That's the reason. Some YouTube videos, the people who've made them, and I have colleagues that have done this, and I've done this myself, they take the trouble to dub the audio with a proper audio recorder that they've used at the same time.
Yeah.
And so they dub the good audio recording to their smartphone movie, and then Bob's your uncle, as we say in English. Yeah. I'm not sure how you're going to translate that into Chinese, but then you have a abracadabra, we also say, you know, like the magician's abracadabra. You put the two together and you've got a nice result. And you can see, you know, some YouTube videos these days, particularly people demonstrating individual gongs and saying, oh, this gong sounds like this. They can be very nicely done, because the people who are doing them are really making a point of trying to get a really good recording.
You know that I knew you just held a training, 2 days training of the gong recording. Actually, it's not only gong. Many like singing bowl, like the
sound therapy
instruments. Sound therapy instruments recording training in UK, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I had this workshop for gong players and people who play other instruments, you know, sound therapy type instruments, because I was getting feedback from some fellow gong players that they found it very challenging, and some of them even dismissed the idea of doing gong recordings because they themselves felt like the kind of consumers of gong bars, that the people who were giving the gong bars also kind of felt the same, that they couldn't do justice to the gongs in the recordings. And I kind of had a workshop to show them the actual techniques, the microphone placements, the type of microphones to use, how to kind of edit, because you know, editing is really, really important, because the other thing that you find when you're making recordings of gongs is that even the slightest little extraneous noises, that clicking, picking up different mallets, coughing, jewellery, can rattle, even little things like this can rattle about, and it doesn't sound much, but it has
amplify in the
and particularly if people are listening on headphones, they hear these little extraneous noises. You've got to edit them all out. That's a skill that you have to teach. So it was worthwhile to offer a workshop, and it worked out very well. And I gave the gong players who came confidence to record their gongs and offer them up to people. In the other these days complicated issue is what format do you kind of offer it to people, because
that's very helpful.
We're kind of beyond CD these days. Not so many people play CDs. There's not so much demand for people to obtain CDs, and we know that CDs that are well recorded are a good standard, so that and MP3s, anything that's been compressed to make the audio file size smaller can be an issue with something like a gong bar. Just the same way as you'd want as wide a spectrum and as well recorded, say, like a symphony orchestra. This is what I often compare it to. Well, people who are used to very high fidelity symphony orchestra recordings are not going to be satisfied with compressed MP3 recordings. They want the wideband, so they have to be larger, non-compressed. There are codecs these days that they use that aren't so bad as others, but you do need a decent sized audio file to really listen to them properly, and this is probably a subject of another video.
Anyway, if you are fancy about the music, the gong CD or gong recording, golden mat for us. or you fancy about the workshop, the Gong or the sound therapy instrument recording workshop, please check the message down below the YouTube video. We will put the link on it. So see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye for now.